Start taking. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Is it?
I'm not
Is
sure.
it working?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Are we there? Are we live? Is it happening? Can you hear us? Can you see us? If you can,
I can see. I can
Good
see.
for you.
I can see. Stream 1, Stream 2, Stream 3. We have 3 streams going.
yes,
Right.
yes. If we keep going this way, we're going to have like 20 soon.
Why do you have 3 streams going?
We have 3 streams going because something doesn't work all the time. And there's a good chance that one of those 3 things is going to work. If we keep going this way, we're going to have like 20.
Okay, well, I have to.
Okay. We have 3 streams going.
Okay, that's cool. It's not turning off now. It's not
Just
stopping. It's
checking the sound on Facebook to see
okay,
if
I have
it's
to.
going
I have to check the sound because there's nobody there to go. It's okay. There's nobody there.
Nobody's listening to us.
Well, people come back later on and listen to it, but there's no other way of finding that out. That's only the first stream, though. And I have to check the second stream before we can go live.
Yes, do that. Check YouTube, see if we're audible and visible and everything that we need to be.
Okay. Here's the YouTube stream coming up.
Yes, do that. Check YouTube, see if we're audible and visible and everything that we need to be. It sounds okay.
No, that's your mic. Here's the YouTube stream. Okay, that's my mic.
Yes,
you see,
that's
you
your
have to
mic.
listen to both mics. Just because your sound is okay does not mean that my
your
sound is okay. Yeah, you keep saying, you keep going, yes, that's great. Yes, that's great.
Yes.
when that's like 5% of it.
Like that monkey with the...
It's like
Like the monkey
it's like
with
I'm starving. I haven't eaten for
percussion.
100 days. All we've got left is one nut.
Yes,
Yes,
that's okay.
yeah.
It's cool, it's great. Have the nut.
Monkey nuts.
Have the monkey nut. If that's gonna make you feel better. Sorry people on YouTube. I don't mean turning my back on you. I was just wanting to
You're turning your back on everyone.
look my darling eye to eye, because he's had a very difficult day and he's done a very good job with all these technical streams being all set up
We
here.
haven't started yet.
What do you mean we haven't started yet?
Well,
It's live, right?
Yeah, but for the podcast we have to do an introduction.
Oh, so you want me to shut up? Or
No. Finally.
just have to
Finally.
say it. Just say it.
Well, I didn't want to jump into your conversation.
You did.
Your monologue there.
My one-to-one conversation.
Okay. If you hear any strange noises in the background, we are living in a zoo. We've moved the studio to a zoo, and we've got the space next to the monkeys. So
There's a baboon on the sofa.
we've got monkeys on one side and bulldozers on the other. Right. So
But we love them very much. They're wonderful.
one of the bulldozers
They're
came through
monkeys.
here a little while ago.
And bulldozed everything.
Yes, knocked everything. No, it didn't knock everything over. That's an exaggeration.
Will, can you help her?
Knocked quite a lot of the important
Please.
things over.
You don't want him help? Here's his help.
Okay, we do live real-time parenting.
Okay, never
She
mind.
wants help, but she doesn't want help from any of her siblings.
Can William help you?
William's big and strong. Your brother's big
Will
and strong.
can help you get on.
Yeah, and if he can help you this time, he'll be able to help you next time as well. Think about that. Then you won't need us at all.
William is stronger than me.
Don't know about that. I do know that he dances in a funnier way. Even though I've continually asked him to stop doing that in front of me. I don't know what I can do about that when the specific requests that I have.
Maybe we could book him dancing lessons.
Maybe we
So he's
could.
got some dance output.
Well, that was supposed to be the judo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it the judo supposed to be the judo and gymnastics and everything? He's supposed to get everything all.
We'll see if he likes that. I think he's
What is she saying? Mine for? See, we're gonna have
everything. She's tired and
Yes.
grumpy.
Can I say that when I'm tired and grumpy as well? Mine.
You say other things. You say the F word quite a lot when you're tired and grumpy.
Food. Don't lean on that.
I'm not leaning. No, I'm not.
Don't
I'm
lean
just
on that,
moving
because
these cables. because
everything might happen again. And if it does,
you're gonna kill me.
I'm going to the kitchen for another bowl of muesli, because that's how I calm down after the last disaster.
He needed a shot of muesli.
I did. If we had if there was any alcohol in this flat, it would have been drunk at that point.
There's that medicine in the bathroom.
There's no drunk.
You've drunk the medicine.
Drunk all the medicine.
When?
What do you mean when?
But the other day when there was a disaster in the technical stuff. Oh, God.
Every 2 or 3 hours I have to run to the bathroom. And
I don't know how this man is coping with all this technical stuff. My head would have exploded about 3 times already if I had to deal with it
myself.
myself.
Small pieces of green on the wall over there.
Is that yours?
It's my brain.
Seriously, babe.
Daddy's brain exploded. Jazzy is now wandering around the flat with the binoculars.
That's my paper.
Of course she is.
Don't play with her papers, Zora.
I'm swimming on the carpet.
And Will is swimming through the carpet because
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
That's what you do on Monday evening.
Naturally. Well, maybe you can actually learn to swim, kind of.
Hi, everybody. This is a Practical Parenting. Welcome.
Zora, could you stop kicking your sister, please? Zora, you're moving her papers. You're kicking her. Can you just come over to this side, please?
Sorinka. Thank
Can
you.
you come over here? Thank you very much, so that you don't do that to her papers.
To keep them apart today, because it's like wild baboons.
All 3 of them. That's insane. It's absolutely insane. Zora's
them
going to cry now.
together.
You know that.
I don't want my paper.
Yeah.
They've all been quite weirdly edgy today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably because it didn't get out yesterday.
So it was.
Because we were.
What do you mean they didn't get out
Did they
yesterday?
get out yesterday?
Didn't they?
No, they didn't get out at all yesterday.
I took them shopping. All 3 of
That's
them.
not really going out, though, is it? Going shopping with the kids.
Oh no, I know, but it was at least
So-
a little bit.
Okay, peaceful. Here comes. Here. If she touches that, everything's going to crash.
Wait a
again.
second, darling.
That's why we
Okay,
have to
I'm gonna go
turn
and
off
solve the
all
problem, darling. Can I do that? Are you gonna be okay? I know that you're not feeling very energized today, but
If you don't go now, there's going to be an even bigger problem than we already have. So, once again, there you go. This is real-time parenting. Is it possible that you could lead Zora into another room, because she's just getting louder and louder and louder and louder, and I don't actually know why she's doing that. Okay. All right. I will. Do you want to come and join me, mate? I'd really like that, but you have to follow my instructions very carefully, because I've built this studio in the corner of the living room here, which means you're not allowed to touch any of the pieces of wood or any of the cables. Yeah, so you have to come in very carefully. But I know that you're good at things like that, so let's just move this over here. No, don't put your hand on that. Climb up on the stool here and sit down. You're doing this okay, climb up on the stool, sit down, swing your legs around. Okay, that's pretty cool. Look at that, wow. Now, we're going to get this mic on. Okay, can you put it over your ears? Don't grab the cable. Just grab. Put it over your ears, okay?
I think it's...
Okay, put it over your ears, that's fine, let go of it, okay? Put this down the side, okay? And one of the rules we have is we don't play with the cable, okay?
Okay.
Because the cables are built by Daddy, and Daddy is not a very technical kind of... Daddy's not a very technical kind of person. Okay, I'm going to have to keep my hand here, because it's designed for the microphone is designed for your mother, not you. So, I need you to count to 5, and we'll see if your audio is going through, okay? I need you to count to 5 for me, okay? So
When?
go. Yeah, that's it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Can you be a bit louder? Can you do it again? A bit louder, a bit more energy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Bit louder, a bit more energy.
Again.
Please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. That was a bit better. That was a bit better. You got to learn to project your voice more. Symbol of confidence and authority. When I was studying theatre in London, one of the biggest problems I had was voice projection. I was on the stage, but I wasn't projecting my voice, so I had to learn how to do it. There are various techniques. We can't do them here today, but we'll work on them again in the future. Right. I was looking at... This Facebook streams are turning on all by themselves in front of me. Oh my gosh. Right, that's pretty crazy. What I want to do is I want this article here, because I was reading an article earlier today about what me and you should talk about, right? I was studying about parenting. I was studying about how to be a good dad, because I know that some things I get right and some things I get wrong. Can you not kick the cables with your legs? Thanks. Okay, cool. Right. I know that I need your help with some things if I'm going to be a good dad. I need you to give me some feedback, and I need you to give me some information. And here comes the bulldozer. What's up, Jazzy? Okay, lie down on the carpet there. It's probably the best thing for you to do, and relax. Okay. So there we go. So, I'm going to need your help with some stuff. Do you think you'll be able to help me? Do you think you'll be able to help me? Maybe. Okay, I like that. That's kind of positive. I can turn a maybe into a yes. We can work on that. We can progress. So, by the way, if you're out there and you're watching, you got any questions for Will? Will is a super brain, right? He knows stuff that nobody else knows. Really, he's got his own answers to a lot of things. Sorry, you're redundant now. You have to. We don't need you in the conversation for the next 2 minutes. Are you gonna run away and not come back?
I will come back. I'm just going to get more juice.
Okay.
You took mine. I gave you it.
Yeah, rewriting history. Okay, so I need a little bit of help. So you said maybe you'd help me. So what I need help with is I got a couple of questions that I don't know the answer to, that maybe you know the answer to. Right. So the first question is what was the best part of your day today? What was the best part?
Being in the park lightsaber fighting with another kid.
You were lightsaber fighting with another kid?
And having those chocolate cookie snacks in the park while playing around.
Where did you get the chocolate cookie snacks from?
DM.
DM? So the DM here. There's not a DM here, is there? DM, the
There's a
drugs market shop.
There's DM near the post office.
Oh, near the post office. You were there. Okay. So you were lightsaber fighting with another kid, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you start the lightsaber fight? How did you meet the kid? How did that happen?
Well, I was eating my chocolate cookies in a little house inside the park, and he asked me something. I can't remember what he asked me.
Did he want one of your cookies?
I don't know.
Was he after your cookies?
No.
How'd you know he wasn't after your cookies? How'd you know?
Because he didn't ask.
Ah, people don't always ask for the things that they want.
First I asked him if he wanted a cookie. once, and he said no.
He said no.
So that's how I know.
So you know that's how you know that he didn't want a cookie. Because you offered him one and he said no. So how did you start the light? Oh, sorry. Continue.
And he asked if he could lightsaber fight with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it started.
Ah. Did you have 2 lightsabers with you?
Yeah.
Why did you take 2?
I was gonna lightsaber with Mom
Oh.
until suddenly
Okay.
I got lucky.
Who's better at lightsaber fighting, Mommy or Daddy?
I think you. Because you beat me quite a lot.
Yes. There are things you can learn from losing. Lots of things. Right. You're making me really nervous standing next to that. After what you just did before, so give me a bit of space, okay? There's lots of stuff happening in the background that nobody in the world's going to know about except me, but things that need to be done. Speaking with your mouth full, okay. Right, I just have to imagine what that was. So that was your favourite part of the day, okay? It's nice to talk about what the favourite part of the day was, because it's kind of a positive thing that you can share with your kids. So it's nice to finish the day on a positive note and try to reflect on something that the kids enjoyed. Who won the lightsaber fight between you and the other kid?
Me, I stabbed him twice.
Did you kill him?
Not really kill him.
Not really kill him, but you fake killed him.
Yeah, because my blade was blunt and it wasn't real. It was plastic
Yeah.
with a round top.
Mm-hmm. If you, just as a production note, if you're around the other side and doing stuff on there, it's all picked up. The click of your computer, pressing on the keys, it'll all get picked up. Okay.
Okay.
Just so that you know from a production perspective. If you're following us on the podcast, you're not going to get all of these things that are going on here, but I'm trying to help Yanka with all the technical stuff so that she understands what's...
Excuse me?
Yes, Phil?
What's the next question?
Oh, sorry, was I boring you? Okay, right. Quite right. Move things on. Hey, people on the podcast don't really care.
I'm going to do the same with you. I'm just going to say, excuse me.
If you find the podcast, you can get some links there to check out the YouTube stream or the Facebook Live video. Right. Also, the podcast has the best audio. Okay, so we talked about... Are you correcting his head there? Or what are you doing? What are you doing with his head?
Tickling him. I'm just trying to wake him up a bit. He looks like he's asleep.
Yeah. You know that you're in this video, but you're just kind of not in this one. So if you're going to be in... Okay, next production note. Okay, I could do a whole podcast production notes here. How to podcast. If you're going to be in, right? That's it. Don't be half in, because that's all fairy-like. Yeah, and you can't be all fairy-like when you do this. You got to be in or out, right? You can't be all... Anyway, he knows what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm talking about. You're in to be in, or you're out. That's it, right. Next?
Was that your Rumpelstiltskin impression?
Our magic comes at a price, Stevie. It's terrible, isn't it? Okay. Okay. as long as you can laugh, that's okay. I think he's giggling because there's chickens on fire in the background. Right. Okay.
I can set the chicken on
You know that he's got the mic and I've got the mic, so sorry. Right.
You can still hear me.
Lean like that, it's going to go woo, 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 woo. Right.
Like this weird Jack in the Box.
You're just going to sound distant and annoying. Right. If you're in, come, that's it. Come into the picture so that you can be seen on both streams. That's it. Right. Because we just had like a piece of your prison uniform before, and you know, people might think we're doing this from from behind bars. Right. Okay, next question. I'm sorry, Will. I didn't answer. Okay, next question is, what was your least favorite part of today? What was the worst thing that happened today?
I don't know.
Maybe there was nothing bad that happened today, but there must be things that you liked and things that you didn't like.
Nothing bad happened today.
Wow. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool to have a day?
But also, I had a little trouble with the slide while I was chasing the kid around.
Slide trouble? What was the trouble with the slide? Tell me a bit
I
more.
was sliding down on my knees until suddenly I tripped over and my cheek hit the ground while I was lying flat on my back with my arm out and the lightsaber just above it.
Oh, so you kind of face planted, yeah?
Yeah.
You kind of planted your face. Okay, okay.
I tripped
You're looking okay now, though. I can't see any marks there.
because there weren't any marks when I fell.
It's because you're hard. You probably damaged the ground more than the ground damaged you, right? Okay. She's going to either burst that balloon or knock that chair over. Okay. The chair that I'm pointing my finger at right now. Okay. There. You're going to have. Well, if you can't see, then you move to a position where you can see. Step by step. I know I sound like an annoying bastard, but I do have to explain things to people, because if I don't, then they just complain that they can't do it, or they don't know how to do it. So, it's just the way that it goes. I've got 2 more questions, Will. Do you think you can hold on?
I can see because there are 4. There's a number 4 down there.
Yanka, can you move that off the edge, please? Because it will get knocked onto the
And
floor.
excuse me, but aren't
There's
these
cup.
computers
There's the
look
cup is balancing on the edge
These
of the couch there.
these computers look like they
Mouthful. Speaking with a
These-
mouthful. Okay.
these computers look like they should be switched because the cameras look really weird when they're like this.
But if they're switched, then they'll be exactly the same. Because you'll just be putting this one in that position and that one in that position. You're putting this is Facebook over here, Will, right? This is the Facebook stream. That's what's going out live on Facebook. And over here
Is the YouTube?
that's the YouTube stream. That's going out live on YouTube. And here, this is a podcast. This is recording all the audio as a backup system in case what happens sometimes is YouTube has issues with its audio and video, and Facebook as well. So this is our recording of it, not their recording, so that we can at least have one good copy of everything. So we have 3 streams running. I tried to set up 4, but that proved to be just too complicated.
So what's the third question?
The third question is, yeah. Are you looking after the girl with the girl with the pirate balloon over there? Always. Always. Okay. Is there third question for you? Is there anything that happened today that you'd like more information about? Is there anything that you didn't understand, or is there anything you'd like to ask me about from our day today?
I'd like to ask you a question.
Me? Okay.
What
Okay.
does 6,098 plus 69,965 equal?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I can't recall all those numbers, so I gotta use different numbers.
Well,
Now,
that means the answer is going to keep changing. If the answer keeps changing, then I can give any answer I want. You wanted to ask me a mathematical question?
right.
Yeah, well, why a mathematical question? Why is that interesting?
To see if you're better at math than I am.
I don't know. I probably am a little bit better because I've done more multiplication and division, and I'm a bit older with more experience. But most people tend to use computers for calculations and calculators. So if people are using computers and calculators, then people are pretty much all on the same level. But if you're talking about calculating without a computer or calculator, I'm probably a little bit better. So, any other questions that you would like to ask? Either me or Mummy?
What does 6,065 divided by 5?
I thought you were going to ask me a really philosophical question, Will. I'm a bit confused by this, but this is your mathematical approach to things. It's your sort of analytical, mathematical thing going on. So I respect that. That's kind of cool. I know you like working with numbers. Oh, what's that YouTube site that I came across the other day? Numberphile, is it? Is it called Numberphile? It's a special YouTube site for kids.
You're asking me?
That's I'm asking the whole world because I'm doing three live streams right now.
Okay.
So I think it's called Numberphile. It's a YouTube site where they have short presentations on how children can do mathematics. It's supposed to be quite good. Anyway, people can check it out online, and if they've got any other suggestions, they can let me know. What's up, Will?
Fourth question.
Fourth question, absolutely. Fourth and final question. Well, you... Zora's got a question. Zora, what's up? How can I help you? Yes, darling? Bro, don't play. Bro, keep your hands in front of you. Don't play with the cable. Okay? Don't touch the cable. Okay? Thank you. Okay, so Zora is not going to ask the question. So the final question is, what kind things did you do today?
I offered a chocolate cookie, but he didn't take it.
Okay, that was nice. That was a nice thing to do. Did you do any other nice things today? Did you help your sisters?
I wrote a letter to Babka that I was trying to make it nice. I put in the word might at the end of it because I wrote, I hope I might get the Star Wars Rebels Lego. That's where I stopped.
Well,
and I wrote other stuff.
Okay, that's cool. So you wrote a letter to Babka. Did you post it? Did you send it? Did you go to the post office? No?
Mom said not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Okay, so you will post it. That's nice. That's a nice thing to do. You helped me by getting some things from me when I needed that as well. So thank you very much for helping with that. And I'm sure that you played with your sisters a little bit, right?
I played with Zora.
Did you play? You played balloons with Jazzy as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
You played with the balloons with Jazzy as well. So that was a kind of nice thing to do. That was pretty cool. Okay. So, thanks very much, right? And I really appreciate you giving us your time this evening, because I know that time is precious. It's the one thing we don't get back. And any final words for the people on Facebook and YouTube? Or the podcast? Any final words? Anything you'd like to say to the world today?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Okay, so, careful. Careful, we're going to move the mic off here. Lift your arm up there. Okay. We'll come back around here. No, don't lean on the table here, Will. Slide down off the side. There we go. Okay, now very carefully stand over the edge. There we go. So, I'm hopefully going to get Yanka to come back now. There we go. Are you back?
Half back.
Half back.
Because I need to move this wonderful thing here
Okay.
so that I can get fully back. And I have to move this wonderful thing here. And here I am.
Bouncing back.
Hi, everybody. Everybody missed me.
Pumpkins on fire.
Hi.
Pumpkins on fire. Welcome back.
Hi.
Did you solve all the problems?
I did not solve all the problems.
Okay.
The children are still there.
Children are not problems to be solved, but issues to be managed.
I'm joking.
Joking?
I'm joking.
Thought you were
Anyway,
serious.
kids are there. Kids are still there, so I'm probably going to get called off again in about 5 seconds.
1, 2. Oh,
But
no, I can't do the counting thing because I was playing the game with Jazzy the other day where
but where you counted to 5 and then she screamed.
I counted to 3, and every time I
1,
got
2,
to 3,
3.
she screamed, and it was a great joke. Now I can't count because every time I say the number 3, she screams. So, yeah.
Well done, Pavlov.
Yeah, that wasn't behaviorism in any sense of the
No,
word.
no,
Okay.
not at
What do
all.
you think about the 4 questions that I asked, Will?
I think they were very nice questions. I'd like to ask you some questions. Can I?
Not guilty, it wasn't me.
Right. Question number 1. What was your most favorite part of the day today?
Are you going to ask me those questions?
What did you enjoy the most?
You're going to ask me those questions? Yeah, are you serious?
Yes.
I don't know if you're being serious or
Yes,
not.
yes,
I can't
I
tell.
am.
I can't tell because sometimes you smile for a couple of seconds and then go, I'm not serious. I don't
No,
want to.
I am serious. What was your
Okay.
most favorite part of the day today? Because we're not going to get to anything serious today, are we?
Everything we do is semi-serious.
Yeah.
Everything we do is semi-serious, right? It's so semi-serious that I had to delete the last video. Anyway, my favorite part of the day today, it's coming up. I haven't had it yet.
Oh.
My favorite part of the day today will be when I turn off all the technical stuff.
And you sit down on your butt
Right?
and you watch Hamish Macbeth.
Yeah, exactly. That's. I really need that half an hour at the end of the day to watch, just to watch something and wind down.
It's a good something as well.
And I mean, I need the. I just need to turn off time. I guess some people read a book. I get it, and I want to watch a piece of fantasy and maybe find some relation. It's funny as well. It makes me laugh.
Oh, it's the last one was extremely funny.
It's hysterical, wasn't it?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and I also got to write about it in the free mail email as well today. I kind of decided to choose a less serious topic today, and I wrote about it. Yeah,
I read it.
I wrote about Hamish Macbeth. So,
It was good. Yes.
yeah, I changed the pace a little bit because it was getting so serious last week. all the pieces
Exactly.
of
That's what I
writing.
wanted to say. Yeah, it suddenly became, so serious and
It was
slightly
good.
depressing.
It was
and,
good, but it was good in that style, right?
yes.
That it was good for that style, but I wanted to change styles a little bit naturally
No, that was good.
because I don't see a lot of people doing that. I see a lot of people writing in the same style always, yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just throw in something different, change the pace a little bit, see if I could do
Yeah.
it. It's a challenge for myself.
Yeah. That's good. It's just like Hamish Macbeth, right?
Is it?
Well, it is because you had two or three episodes that were kind of slow and dark, and then change of pace came, and it just mixes things up a bit, shuffles things up a bit. I've got my hands in my pocket. I have to take them out because then I can't talk properly.
Playing with the
I need
camera.
I need my hands to talk.
Right. There's a name for that. There's a name for people who are, waving their arms around.
Teachers always made fun of that, because
School.
every time I was called in front of the classroom and I had to, speak, I would always
moving over in the YouTube video because there we go. Okay.
I would always have to use my hands to express myself, and everybody was laughing at that because it's like I was dancing in front of the classroom, kind of just a
Nothing
bit
wrong.
like Will there.
Nothing wrong with using hands. What else was good in my day? I really enjoyed sitting in the dentist chair today. That was
Did
great.
you?
I
Did
love
you?
it. I love it when other people put their fingers in my mouth. It's
You are not going to believe this, G. I know you're not going to believe this, right?
I don't believe it already. I
But-
don't even know what you're going to say. You actually like it when people put their fingers in your mouth.
You know, now that we're living here and you
Yeah.
work from home, I occasionally get moments to myself when I get to go to the shop by myself, for example, right? Or when you take the kids out like you did yesterday. Was it before yesterday?
Wasn't yesterday? Kids
Was
didn't
it
get out.
before yesterday.
Did you work that one out? The kids didn't get out yesterday.
Got it.
Got it. Okay.
Anyway,
Right. I wanted to. I have an issue with that.
you wanted to emphasize it.
I wanted to emphasize it. And I'm not saying that's your fault. Okay. I'm not saying you didn't take the kids out. What I'm saying is that we didn't take the kids out. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Because we thought we were taking them swimming, and then the swimming just never happened.
Swimming never happened because of all the things that nobody can see and
Because
that
everything
and
else happened.
Nobody cares about.
Yeah,
Oh look! If I
that
do
happens
this, I can create a dinosaur on the ceiling.
Anyway, before you started working from home, right? I never basically because of how we used to
You have a
work,
biscuit. What?
because of how we used to work as a family together.
Function.
Function, yes.
Mal.
I never ever got any time away from the kids, right? Which
What's
is
that like for the average person? It must be a nightmare. I mean, I've got one client
yeah.
whose partner is working away Monday to Friday
Yeah.
every week.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's just insane. Even Monday to Friday, they don't get a break. Not even in the evening. I mean, that's just.
No, and then during the weekend you just want to spend the whole time together as a family because you don't get any time together during the week, right?
Mhm.
So you just as much as I love to do everything with the kids, and you know that I do, sometimes you just need like 10 minutes to yourself, right? And
I'm warning you now because if she touches that and knocks
Yeah?
it over.
good. William can put on Octonauts.
William, come over here.
Okay.
And pick up the remote from my hand and go and put on Octonauts for your sister.
So.
Okay.
And I didn't have my system figured out yet back then either. You know, the system where
System.
I
Do you
get
have a
up.
system?
I have a system where I get up really early while the kids are
I
still
have a
sleeping.
system. I always get up at 5 every morning.
Almost always.
That's a joke. It's a joke. I don't.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even set my alarm. When was it? Did I set my alarm this morning?
No.
I did.
Did you?
I got up first,
This morning.
didn't I?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you did. You did. You did. You did. You did.
You know what day
Yeah.
it is, don't you?
Yeah. I got it. Yes, you did. That's true.
I mean,
It was yesterday.
It says now you're unorganized.
It was
You can't remember
yesterday before yesterday.
You can't remember
Okay.
today. Can
I'm
you remember
sorry.
tomorrow?
Shut up. So, yeah. Now I have a system where I get up in the morning and
No.
I get some time for myself before the
What is
kids
that?
get up. But before,
Yeah.
I couldn't do that because Jasmine was still breastfed, and every time I moved, she would wake up and ask me to go back and breastfeed her back to sleep. So I couldn't really get out of the bed much earlier than she did because she would always get up. Do you understand? So, do you get it? Am I speaking English?
I'm listening. I'm being very quiet because I'm listening.
So I actually
Well, no dancing in the living room. please.
really honestly got into a state.
Not in the evening.
Do the
can you-
Octonauts, Will,
can you
please.
communicate? Will, please communicate with your sisters about what you're doing.
Good.
Can you wait until he's put it on because he can't do two things at once? Okay.
So I actually really came to a state where I sat down.
Same thing that you got with the remote.
Yeah, I know. Probably got it from.
Jabbing it every time you hit the screen.
Where I actually sat down at the dentist in the dentist's chair for a root canal, and
Ooh,
I was
don't you have
just.
to have like a number of visits for that?
And I was like,
No, a different one.
I was like, now I have an hour without having to watch anyone at all.
So you're quite happy to go to the dentist,
Well, I used to be, and I still actually am, because
drinking my juice.
you know it's better now when the kids are older. But when you've got a toddler all the time, or an infant or a toddler all the time, and I've had a toddler somewhere to watch for like 8 years, right? You can't just sit and not watch, right? You have to have your eyes on your kids at all times. So it's quite relaxing for me to go to the dentist and not having to watch anybody. Darling, why don't you go and grab a soft cushion then, sweetie?
Will, can you give her a soft cushion, please?
There's plenty of soft
Will,
cushions
hello.
everywhere.
Will, are you listening to me? Thank you. Can you get this cushion? Don't get any of the ones that Jazzy's sitting on. Don't take any of the ones. Don't take any of the ones. Oh, she's giving it.
Oh my
well,
goodness.
'cause if Jazzy doesn't want something, then the peace has disappeared from everything.
Anyway, you remember when I was pregnant
I'm living in a weird movie this evening.
a few times,
I'm living a
right?
strange existence. Things are happening behind that camera. That. Okay, sorry.
You go for a checkup like every month when you're pregnant, right? In Slovakia.
I do.
Yeah. And
It's
Even-
good to have a checkup, isn't it?
even there, I couldn't relax because the kids would always come with me, and I would still have to watch them while having a checkup when I was pregnant. So that was quite funny, actually.
Well, it's a sign of your responsibility, isn't it? So
Just
the fact that you have to think about these things as well.
yeah. So
So
dentist visits are actually quite cool.
you like it, don't you?
I love it. Just
Yeah.
you don't have to think about anything else but pain. That's actually quite relaxing. You don't have to multitask for like the first time in 8 years.
Okay, right. I'm just trying to answer all these questions going on in the background as well.
I'm pretty sure that the mamas out there know what I'm talking about,
You know,
especially
I-
when you've got homeschooled kids at
Yeah,
home.
despite the fact I have these issues with schools, there are things that I don't have issues with, right?
Right.
One of them is the fact that the dentist that I visit is actually in a school.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think it's great to have the dentist in the school because it.
We used to have that as well when I was a kid.
Oh well, it belongs to this
school
part of the
dentist.
world. It's something from this part of the world.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
We had a school dentist.
Will, are you going to put on something? Will, can you communicate with your sisters, please, about that? Yeah, you have to. You have to talk to them.
Good. Do it. Just- That's Octonauts, Zora.
Will,
Sometimes you
could you
just have
put it
to
on
breathe.
very soon, please? Because why? Yes, Will. Can you put it on? Can you put it on? Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Zora says she just almost had a heart attack because she thought that Will was going to put on something else other than Octonauts.
I would have had
I
a heart
can
attack.
give you a heart
I would have
attack.
had a heart attack if I hadn't put anything on at all. Right. I can't speak now. Hadn't put in anything on at all. It's not even.
Do you think we should get to this infographic that you wanted to talk about, me to talk about today?
Rewind. See, this is what this is what happens when we plan to do it in the morning and we end up
And
doing
we
it
end up doing it
in
at
the
night.
evening, and it all just turns into little or no sense, also known as nonsense.
Yes,
Okay.
end up having easily. And,
We're going to get the kids commentating on Octonauts as well going on, but that's real-time parenting. So,
There you go.
well, there was the habits of highly effective parents. which
Yeah.
I want to talk about that, but I'm not sure I want to talk about that this evening. So,
Maybe not. Maybe it's just a bit too serious for this evening. Hey, I
What's
wanted
it?
to talk about kindergarten the other day, and I didn't get there.
to kindergarten. You
Yes,
never
because-
went.
Well, I did go. but only for a few months, I think, because then I
They wouldn't have you.
then I became ill. Well, my mother
Did
said that.
kindergarten make you ill?
Well, you know how kids, when they start going into kindergarten or nursery or something, they usually come back with the sniffles, and they get really sick like all the time for about at least 1 year, until they exchange all the bacteria that go around in that group of kids, right? So
Is that how it works?
yeah. Kids are always sick when they start going to the kindergarten, and I'm not sure whether that's because
Is that why everybody gets sick once the school term starts? You notice, like in the autumn, like everybody gets sick.
yeah, like it might be. Or I have a theory that it's actually not the bacteria that go around the group of kids, but it's actually just going there, just itself, right? Because suddenly
It's like psychological.
yes, I think it's completely well, not maybe not completely. I mean, to get rid of bugs, right? But I think to a large extent it may be psychological, because it's a huge change for the kid, and it's stressful. Even when the kid likes the kindergarten, it's still stressful.
It's the neglect thing. It borders on neglect when children want to be with their parents and can't be with their parents, and parents want to be with their children and can't be with their children.
Yeah, I know.
And it's terrible, because a lot of the parents have to go away to work, and children who don't have those communicative skills and abilities yet don't really understand what's happening. You can't really explain it to them at the very young age that some kids get sent to nurseries or kindergartens.
Also, when you think about what happens afterwards, right? The parent comes from the work, and they're exhausted, basically, right? You come back home from work at 5 o'clock with your kid that you picked up from the kindergarten, and you're exhausted, and you don't have the energy to give the full-on one-on-one, experience, and then the kid, of course, being stressed out from the kindergarten, starts testing your nerves, right? A lot of parents. I'm doing this.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Children never test my nerve.
Most of the parents that I've ever talked to, tell me.
I'm joking.
My kid, or the teachers from the kindergarten tell me that my kid is an angel, that she's wonderful and shares and plays nicely and never has any conflicts. And then she comes home and she screams her head off, and she's horrible, and she pushes her siblings around, and it's just like a different child, right? And they're like, why does she always misbehave for me, but is so great in the kindergarten, right? And they don't understand that it's because the kids feel safe at home, and they need to let out everything that they've been holding in during their stay in the kindergarten.
That's a great point.
Because they don't feel safe with adults that they don't know. Well, they know that the adults, but they don't have intimate relationship with them, so they don't feel completely safe with them. So they know they have to hold everything back. They have to control themselves. And for such little kids, controlling themselves is an exhausting thing to do, right? So when they come home, they relax, they chill out, they let it out, and they just vent, right?
You should write an article about that, because I think that expresses exactly what happens, and so few people are able to cut to the chase of the matter and express it like that.
Yeah, no.
You need to write about that. You need to put that on your blog. What's the blog title?
Do that. It's 21st Century Mum.
Is that 21st Century Mum?
21st Century Mum with a U in the mum, not an O, people.
Mum.
M-U-M.
You should call it 21st Century MUM.
Yeah.
Because if you say mom, then some people are going to write M-O-M because that's the way they are, right? So, if you want people to find it, look, all these tricks and tips, as we learn how the technology works and doesn't, as we learn how to develop the business and how not to develop it, then we're going to share that with everybody out there. As the kids grow, we're going to share that with you as well. I was just thinking, I wish I could turn the camera around and get the kids all chilled out.
They're finally chilled out.
On the couch over there, but I can't because I've taped the cameras.
Of course, so they
to the
don't move.
top of the laptop, so they don't move. Because all those little things, right?
Yeah,
all those little things. Not only do we have.
You should just set it all in stone, so that nothing can get knocked over.
Out of rock. Well, they tried to do that with Stonehenge and that fell over. So.
Anyway, the point about the kindergartens is...
You know what happens if you drop a tablet?
What?
It breaks.
Really? I've never seen that happen in my life.
No.
Anyway.
I dropped one in the bathroom.
Anyway.
Tap, tap.
So what happens is...
Am I a door?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is...
When is a door not a door?
This... Oh my God. Yeah, when?
When it's a jar.
Right.
Sorry, please continue.
So what you have then is the mixture of an exhausted, nervous parent, right? And a wild, venting child, right?
Oh my gosh.
And then everybody's frustrated.
That's like, it's like pouring TNT into a nuclear reactor.
Exactly. And so I'm not saying it's always like that, okay? But very often that is what happens. And then very often, there's a lot of frustration coming out of that equation. So and then you've got that cycle that comes up, right? And that's where you get all those posts at the end of the summer going, oh my God, I can't wait for my kids to go back to the kindergarten or back to school, right? Because people don't understand me, as a homeschooler. People whose kids go to school don't understand homeschoolers because they're like, how can you keep your kids at home all the time? Don't you go crazy? They're these wild little beasts who will, eat your head off or something. And how can you just...
Might be an exaggeration.
I'm just happy to be able to go through the weekend without killing anybody, right? And they don't understand that's the direct effect of having the kids in the kindergarten. That not only they pick up habits from other children, right? Some things that they wouldn't normally pick up if they stayed home, like for example, teasing, laughing at somebody else's misfortune, hurting others just for fun, things like that. Those are not natural to people. Those are not natural to children.
Well, yeah, well,
They're picked up in large groups.
When you lock people in a small confined space, you're basically examining every activity under a microscope. And so small things become big things in that kind of situation. So the classic example is, one kid wears a different T-shirt from what they usually wear. People are just going to point the finger and they're going to say, "Why are you wearing that?" And they're going to, because they've got nothing else. They've got nothing else that they're not enough in an environment of flow where things are happening naturally.
Yeah.
They're in an unnatural environment of stagnation, and so they're going to pick on those little differences, which is again part of where a lot of psychological bullying comes from, which is not visible, but it's there, it's happening.
My gosh, kindergarten bullying is a thing. I've got this friend called Lucia Gomez, and
is that her there?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Are you watching, Lucia? Ciao. We had a little chat about kindergarten bullying, right? That is a thing.
Kindergarten bullying. They bully in kindergartens.
Well, no, the kids in the kindergarten can bully each other.
Well, yeah, I get it.
Right?
There's pressure. They're putting pressure on each other. They're copying the patterns from home, and they're bringing the patterns from home into the kindergarten. Yeah,
and just It's crazy. It's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm not saying that kindergartens cannot work, right?
Of course.
I think that they can work if they're done in an intelligent way. If you've got enough adults per children ratio, right?
Mm-hmm. Adult per child ratio, absolutely.
If the teachers are engaged in the interaction with children, right? Not just, I used to go out with Will, right, when he was a kid, and we used to go to this play area where kids from the kindergarten would come when it was their time to go out.
Okay.
And the teachers would just sit down on the bench.
I've seen that.
And,
oh my God, I know what you're talking about.
Just chat, and they wouldn't watch the kids at all. They just go, let the kids run free, which is great. Kids need some unstructured playtime, but they wouldn't engage.
They wouldn't observe what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like whatever.
I've seen that. I've also seen the opposite. I've seen those areas where people are engaged and they are watching and they are observing what's happening a lot of the time, and they see those the psychological situations that are happening, because the bullying's not overt. It's kind of covert at that age, but it's still there. And I've seen those situations where the teachers just sit down and they have their chat and they're not aware.
Yeah,
of the
and often you know, if the teacher's not engaged, often they would just go, oh well, they're just kids, you know. They don't. They downplay the first signs of bullying, like teasing, for example. Right? Somebody's laughing at somebody else's hairstyle.
It leads.
Oh, they're just kids. Kids do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no, kids don't do that. I mean, my kids don't do that because they have had nowhere to pick it up. I don't laugh at your hairstyle, right?
What's wrong with my hairstyle?
Mostly.
You're saying there's something wrong with this.
I mean, if we make fun of each other, we do it in an intelligent way, and we know that we know that it's benign and done with love.
That's a great word.
So.
Zora, could you lie down on the couch normally, please? Because I think you've scared your sister off there. Just lie down and chill out, please, darling. Thank you.
So there's nowhere,
We'll be finished in 5 minutes, darling.
There's nowhere they could pick it up.
Because we need to.
When Will was first pushed.
What stories?
Quasi stories aren't true, she's saying.
Quasi stories aren't true.
Quasi makes up stories sometimes.
In Octonauts.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's called Quasi.
I haven't seen Octonauts for more than 30 seconds. I just,
Anyway,
I know that they like it, and there's lots of things about teamwork. So
my point was,
that's all I know.
Well, Will was first pushed by somebody when he was 5, and it was a boy pushed him. He would fall down, and the boy would laugh at the fact that he got hurt, right? And then he would run off, and Will just wouldn't understand. He just couldn't get it. He was like, why would somebody laugh at someone else getting hurt, right? Because that's not normal, but that's what the kid picked up at the kindergarten. That's
Well, that's their way of communicating, isn't
exactly,
it?
and that's what some teachers would shrug their shoulders at and say, "Oh well, that's just kids. That's just boys." Well, it's not. So everything depends on the type of kindergarten, type of kindergarten, who runs it, what teachers it has, how many kids is each teacher watching.
Absolutely.
I've heard about
the kids to what do you call people who work in kindergartens?
It's not a teacher.
The kids to teacher ratio must be good, right? Talking like 1 to 8, maybe.
I don't know.
I
can't give you the exact numbers, but
I can tell you a nightmare story about a kindergarten that is not that far from here, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my clients had an office next to the kindergarten, and she heard the teachers shouting and possibly even hitting the kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she couldn't live with it any longer, and she went to question them about it, and they said, what, are you crazy? Nothing is happening. And she said she was like 100% sure that this was going on. And she went to quiz them about it, and she didn't have the evidence because everything was behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. And then she went to the parents and talked to some of the parents about it, and the parents didn't believe her because the parents didn't want to believe her, because then they would have a problem that they had to deal
Then
with.
they would have to do something. Huh?
Yes. So we're talking about a lot of things that can go wrong that people are not aware of. You need to be aware of what's going on in the kindergarten. You need to be aware of...
There have been horror stories in Slovakia.
Here's one issue I have, right? The one issue I have is, if you're putting your children into the care of somebody, how much do you know about that person? I'm not talking about, are they qualified? Has someone employed them? Do they have a qualification?
No, how much do you know about their character?
I'm talking about, yeah. Who are they? Where are they from? What are their values? Are they religious or not? What are their perspectives on peaceful parenting? How much do you really know about these people? Are they... I'm not talking about just, say it's a good example, bad example, but let's just take, say, are they from single-parent families, for example? Or that can make a big difference in people's understanding of the world and their approach to what is normal for them. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that you have to have certain values that you want from that environment. And you can't just accept everything as being okay. Not everything is okay, and not everything is normal.
I can't imagine somebody bringing up my kids with a completely different set of values than what I have, right? In the traditional old school way of shouting and yelling and bribing and manipulation, which is so often used with kids.
Well, I've heard adults say things to children which are so blatantly not true. And the children, don't know how to react to it. It's frightening. I've even seen that in kindergartens. I actually worked in a kindergarten for 6 months. So,
I have a nice, not nice story.
I learned a lot working in a kindergarten. I worked in a kindergarten for 6 months, and I was not at the stage in my life where I was a good person working in the kindergarten, right? It was something new for me, and I, to be honest, don't have any brothers or sisters, so I don't have much experience with kids, and kind of, okay, the head's at the top and the feet are at the bottom, but that was kind of all that I knew. Yeah. And so it was like landing in another planet doing that. When I did that, I think I was about 20 years old when I did that, and it was like, whoa. This is a challenge.
How did you feel about it? Did you like it, or did you feel like it's too much for you? Or was
I enjoyed the challenge of doing it. It was recommended to me by somebody I worked for. They said, "Oh, you haven't worked with younger kids. You should go and try it and see how it works." Oh, okay, I'll try that. And what did I learn? I learned that a lot of the kids seemed to be more confident than me. I was scared to approach some of the kids, but the kids weren't scared to approach me. So I learned that. I learned about neatness, tidiness, and organization. That children actually have a great respect for things that are organized, even though they're not able to organize things themselves.
Yes, I know that.
Planet, basically.
I know that children appreciate very much when things are organized and neat, but
because they were, for example, they showed me in the kindergarten. There was a test. There were 2 tables of books, right? And one table, the books were all over the place. And the other table, the books were all neatly organized. So all the kids go to the table where all the books are neatly organized.
Yeah, I know that kids appreciate it, and I wish that I could keep their room a bit more organized. But that's very challenging for me.
Okay, it's their room, so it's not really your job to organize it.
Yes, but they're not capable of doing it themselves. I mean, physically, yes.
They're getting there.
But I mean, if they were capable of keeping it that way, it would be that way, right? I'm not saying about physical capability. I mean, if I come there and if I tell them exactly what to do, they will do it reluctantly, but they will. I'm talking about the mental, psychological capabilities, the self-motivation, they're just not there. It's just not there. That doesn't mean that I shouldn't keep it tidy, or it doesn't mean that I shouldn't have them involved in keeping it tidy. But I don't really expect it to magically happen by itself, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. I think you've covered a lot of nice issues there in connection with kindergarten. I think kindergarten is something that parents need to think about.
Yes,
Don't
absolutely.
just send your kids to the kindergarten or the nursery school or
I don't, you know,
preschool or whatever you call it.
having the kids at home is probably the best decision that you've ever made, that you've ever made for me.
Did I do that?
Because I wanted to send. Well, I remember when he was 3, and I was like, maybe we should send him to the kindergarten for like 2 days a week for 4 hours or something. And you said,
I wasn't very happy with that.
you were like, don't even go there. And I was like, okay. But you know, the pressure is massive.
To send kids.
The social pressure is massive.
Well, you're stigmatized if you
That's
if you don't send your
crazy.
kids.
It's everybody, God, and living in a small village is even crazier because everybody's gonna say, "Oh, where does he go to the kindergarten? He doesn't. Why? Don't you want to send him? You would have some free time for yourself. Are you crazy? You've got a little baby. You should send the older one away to the kindergarten so that you can take a better care of the
more time to
baby."
yourself so you can smoke cigarettes,
That's
drink alcohol,
one
and talk
point.
shit.
That's one point. And the second point is, oh, he would be happier there because he would be with the other kids and he could play all day. And I don't think so. I mean, not sending the kids to kindergarten was a big privilege, okay, because not everybody can do that, and I respect that fact. So I am aware of the fact that it was a privilege to be able to do that.
Left hand.
It was also
Boom.
It was also the best decision for all of my kids because they have developed great relationships between each other, which I'm not sure would be able if they went would be possible. Sorry, if they went to kindergarten.
Yeah, I know it might seem like at various times, because we do this live real-time parenting thing, that it's a bit chaotic in the background, but the kids do love each other and they do respect each other and they do care for each other, and it's all nice part of the growing process.
Children are often, you know, it's a pattern where a baby is born, new baby is born around the age of 3, and that's exactly the age when in Slovakia kids go to kindergarten. So it very often coincides that a new baby is born and the older child is sent away to the kindergarten.
And the whole world is upside down then, isn't it?
And then the kid just links that to the new baby, right? And expresses jealousy and there's a whole, you know, the relationship basically is, I wouldn't say doomed from the beginning, but it's marked by that. Okay? I'm not saying that they're not going to love each other or anything like that. That would be stupid. But it's a problem. It creates a problem because the older child can make that connection, right? That, oh, they've got a new baby, so they, you know, pushed me away, basically.
Very good point. In addition to that, my issue is with borders. Some parents will just say that everything is normal and seem to accept everything, and I think that as parents you need to have borders, you need to have limits, you need to know what you will accept and what you won't accept, because otherwise you'll just be pushed and pulled in all kinds of directions, and that's not a cool example to present to your kids, I think.
So yeah, if parents don't have the opportunity to keep their kids at home, then it's certainly recommended to have a proper look at where you're sending them. Check the values of the teachers, individual teachers, because you can have a great teacher and then you can have a shitty teacher, and they could both be working in the same place. And
you can have a teacher that can, like, brighten your day and enlighten your world. You know, you can have great teachers.
Like we were once in Timko, Will's former neighbor, right? Had some kind of a birthday party, and one of the kids came in. They were all from the same kindergarten, and one of these kids came in and was like, "Oh, what happened to your head?" He had a patch on his head or something. And it was like, "Oh, it's just got hurt in the kindergarten." Yeah, when? Like football, you know. And we're like, "What happened?" "Oh, something happened, a squabble or whatever. Somebody tripped him, or I don't remember exactly what happened." And then Timko's mom asked, "Well, what was the teacher doing?" And this kid says, "Oh, he was sitting on the bench and playing with his mobile phone." Right.
Oh my God! So the modern.
So there you go. So that can happen. That can happen. So you if you need to send your kids to kindergarten, you want to make sure that
I'm pretty
that's
sure
not going to happen.
I agree. I'm pretty sure there was a statistical study of how much time, real-time parents spend with their kids and how much time they spend with their mobile phone. I'm pretty sure the results would be shocking.
Oh, I don't even want to go there.
I've seen a couple of videos recently where parents are talking to their child but looking at their phone.
Oh yeah.
That freaks me out a lot.
I know.
Anyway, we're going to have to.
I know we're going to have to finish. I just wanted to make last point.
Yeah, sure. Do it. Yeah.
Just last point. Talking about.
Is this slide okay? Is that in your eye?
That's fine.
That's okay.
Fine.
Okay,
I just wanted to say the last point that when parents do need to send their kids to the kindergarten because they need to go to work, it's also a great idea to do the. The slow easing the children into the kindergarten. Some kindergartens offer a slow process where over the period of 2 weeks or even a month, you can you start with coming to the kindergarten with the child and staying there with the child, for 4 hours or whatever.
Okay.
Or you probably start with 2 hours and then it goes longer, and then you only stay for a while and then you go off for a while. Right, so slowly, you kind of adjust the routine and you adjust the child to the fact that he's going to be left somewhere, so that it's not, cold turkey. All of a sudden, you're home and then you're not home. You're with complete strangers.
You don't want to throw the child in the deep end, basically.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. With kids he doesn't know, teachers he doesn't know for God knows how long per day, like 6 hours a day. It's not a good idea. So if you need to do that, check on the kindergarten, check on the teachers, talk to the teachers, get to know them, take them for a coffee, whatever you need to do to make you feel comfortable with whoever's going to teach your child, and see if you can get to a place that will allow you to adjust your child to the kindergarten at the beginning. Right?
I'm sorry, I was watching Will stick his finger up his nose over there.
Is that fascinating?
I was just, I got distracted by him sticking his finger up his nose, and I was wondering how I could get him to stop sticking his finger
I think we should wrap it up here.
Okay.
Because we've done
what was the last point you made that I just didn't catch? What was that?
The adjusting period, that you want to find a kindergarten that will allow you to take 2 weeks or 4 weeks or.
Can you stop for 1 second? Well, I'm having a conversation with Mommy right now, okay? So if you wait a couple of minutes, I'm quite happy to talk with you, but you have to wait till we finish this conversation.
Or however long it takes to just, adjust the kid to the kindergarten. That was my last point.
Yeah, the adjustment. And
yes.
Think about think of everything as learning to swim. Step by step, right?
I say, think about what would happen if it happened
Unless
to
you're
you,
John
right?
What?
Imagine you go to a group of, say, 20 other people, where you're supposed to stay in the group and interact with 20 other people for 8 hours a day with 3 bosses hovering about you. I mean, it would be super stressful. It's stressful for me to just meet one person that I don't know, let alone 20 people that I don't know at the same time with 3 bosses hovering around me.
So, yeah, think about that. I mean, that's scary. That's scary.
It is. It's more difficult for the children to adjust to than we actually think it is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of freaky.
Right. So let's say thank you very much for watching.
Wait! Where are you going?
Sorry, I'm wrapping it up because we've been on for.
Yeah, I've been trying to wrap you up for about 20 minutes. Anyway.
I'm sorry. Did you want to say something?
No, I've very much enjoyed listening to you talk about kindergartens. It was a pleasure.
We should do that more often, maybe.
Listen to those ideas.
I can just keep talking once we turn this off. If you like that.
No, save it for the next time I turn everything on if I can get it all to turn on. Okay, we're going to finish with something a bit more light-hearted because we've discussed lots of. Are you going to
tell us jokes? Are you going to do the knock-knock jokes?
No, I've done them before, and I don't want to repeat myself. That would be boring.
Okay.
So, I've got the random question generator.
Oh, right.
Conversationstarters.com generator, right? And I'm going to click it, and it's going to give a question, and we don't know what question it's going to give, and I'm going to give the question to you. You're going to answer the question. We're going to do it very quickly, very shortly, and then we're going to do a couple of these just to get random questions in.
Okay.
Because we don't know
just
which direction things are going to go in. Okay, here we go.
Okay, go on then.
So here we go. Random question generator. I've clicked the button. Your question is, what was your first car?
My first car.
What was your first car? That's the question. Random
I've
question
never
generator.
had a car. I've never had a car, people. I don't even have a freaking driving license.
Your first car was my car.
Yes, exactly. Which wasn't mine. But never mind.
Okay, right. Oh, you can't see, can you? You don't have your glasses on. Wait,
my turn. The big orange button, yeah?
Well, did I ask you 2 minutes ago to wait?
Ooh,
okay.
How often do you use your phone? That's a boring one.
Well, as a phone, almost never.
That's true.
What do I use? I used to play music most of the time. I used my phone to play music. We used it for the first 20 videos that we did on Facebook, right? I mean that's pretty cool. So I use it. I try to use it as it's designed to be used as a multifunctional tool. I don't actually use it as a phone, and I try to turn it off whenever I don't need it, and I definitely don't interact with the kids when I'm using my phone. Okay.
Yes, and the other way around. Give me another one. Go on.
Okay, yeah, I'll do another one. Okay. What is a long-term goal of yours? One
long-term goal.
Yeah, give me one long-term goal that you have. All relationships should do this. Everybody should go to the.
Give him one long-term goal.
Everyone should go to conversationstarters.com. Hit the random conversation questions. Right.
Okay.
Have a couple of beers and go through random
What if my long-term
conversation
goals is reach as many people out there as possible?
You could do that by running naked down the street. You know that.
When it comes to my 21st century mum thing going on.
MUM.
So
you
that
have to say
MUM.
21st century MUM.
Yes. Because I'm trying to offer support and maybe give a little bit of advice to mums of little kids and babies.
Mum's the word. Wouldn't
the word.
that be a great title for a blog?
That would be.
Mum's the word.
Probably exists already.
If one doesn't exist, there you go. Full of good ideas. Mum's the word.
Yes, because it's a very
Quickly change it.
because it's a very vulnerable group of people that need a lot of support that is not often given. There's a lot of there's a lot of information going on.
I'll tell you what,
but
there's only one more group that is more vulnerable than mothers.
Fathers.
Because think about, if you're a woman, you're kind of expected to spend a lot of time with kids, and I'm not saying that's so good or bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a dad, that there's no great expectation that you spend a lot of time with your kids. So
That's true.
that's a future topic, I think, definitely.
Ah, that's a great topic. I think we should discuss that
Okay.
next time.
Right, click the button, because that's part of the fun.
Do you have any pets? Sorry, it's not funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny, okay? It's not, stop it. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny. I'm allergic to everything, right?
Except for sheep.
Except for sheep. And ducks, of which I should be allergic
And
to, but I'm
geese.
not. And lizards.
And chickens.
So all we can do is we can get a crocodile, I think, and that we can get a,
And a sheep for the crocodile.
and that's about it, basically. Reptiles. That's all I can have.
Reptiles, yeah. You
Right.
could have a turtle.
But the shitty thing is that I can't go visit anybody who's there's weird noises in the background. I think Will's unscrewing his bed, right?
He's playing the egg tar.
Oh God, he's not. He's,
Yeah.
the egg slicer.
Yeah.
He runs around with the egg slicer.
He
like
created
like
a homemade egg tar.
Egg tar.
He's got an egg slicer with some strings on it, and he just opens it and plays it as a guitar, and he calls it egg tar. Naturally,
it sounds like a small rodent being tortured. Okay.
talking about pets.
Okay. Right. Will, can you close the door of your room, please? Because we can hear that all the way through here, and all the people on the internet can hear it. Can you close your room door, please? Thank you very much. Okay. Right. I feel like I'm pushing him away. I got to do this to get this finished, though.
Yeah,
I'll
we have
make
to
it
finish
fast.
this, okay?
Let's
And
do
then
two more quickly.
after we
Quickly.
finish this,
30.
we will go to the kids'
Oh,
room.
no, we'll just do it another time. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Finish it by saying, please, 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 please. Now, I should have done this all the way through, but damn. Right. www.nsa-slovakia.com. That's the website. Go there. There's lots of great stuff. Join us on Facebook. It's Graham William Hendrey or the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching.
Or
please
there's
link up.
21st Century MUM group, which you can join
Okay,
and
so
get
is
some more
that
of me.
active? Okay, that's pretty cool. There's also a Pinterest page with lots of cool ideas. And did I mention the YouTube channel?
No, you
The
didn't.
Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching on YouTube.
That's
Please link up to
you.
us there. Ask us questions. Ask us questions. We'd like some questions so that we can deal with them in future programs, in future series. So that's about it for today. We'll be back with another practical, peaceful, positive parenting podcast very soon. And
P.
yeah, I know. I'm going to
P,
get
P,
more.
P, P,
I'm
P.
going to get more peas in there as well, and it'll be even
never enough
cooler. Right, and more peas for the pod. Right. Now I'm just going to work out how to shut down everything.
Facebook first.
Facebook first. Going to say bye to everybody on
Bye,
Facebook.
everybody, at the same time.
Bye, everybody on Facebook. You guys.
Thank
stay
you very
cool.
much for watching.
Speak to you soon. Bye bye, Facebook. Following Facebook, we now say bye bye to the podcast. Bye bye, podcast guys. Speak to you soon. Say bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, that's the podcast done.
And bye-bye, people on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching us. We hope that this gave you something. Give you something. At least something to think about, maybe, or something to share. Who knows?
Yes, please act, react,
We'll see you
respond,
later.
do something.
We'll be here again tomorrow.